When it comes to kitchen gadgets, I've got just about anything you can think of, including this here crock pot or slow cooker. And I don't use it very much, but there are just some nights and some weeks that you need something just made ready when you get home. So let me show you how to make these creamy ranch pork chops in the crock pot. Welcome back to Chelsea's Culinary Corner. So the first thing we need is some pork chops, and I don't care what kind of pork chops you have. So I have the ones that are on sale on the Pick 5 at the Cash Saver. I swear it says pork chops on the thing, but I think I got country style ribs. But you know, sometimes things are mislabeled, and sometimes you just have this in the freezer and you forget it's not labeled and you already have it thawed out and you need to make supper. So we're just gonna go with it, all right? That's what you need to do in your kitchen also, is just go with it. If anybody complains, they can run on down to the store and get themselves something else, but 9 times out of 10, they're gonna eat what you put on that plate. All right, let's get these bad boys seasoned up. And something that goes perfect with pork, especially a pork chop, is going to be ranch. So I have ranch seasoning here, or you can use the ranch packets if you have them. And we're just gonna give a good coating of this ranch powder here, all over one side. Next thing we're gonna use is garlic powder. And as always, if you don't have my exact seasonings, just use what's in your cabinet, okay? It's gonna be covered in gravy at the end of the day. It'll be good. And just regular black pepper. And remember, what you do to one side, you're gonna do to the other. Once you have your pork chops nice and seasoned, we are going to get them in our crock pot. Now, normally if I use a crock pot, I'm gonna use a liner, but because we are gonna make gravy, I recommend not putting the liner in there because it can just be really cumbersome, and we're gonna have so much liquid, it's not going to stick. So we really shouldn't have an issue with cleanup here. So I'm just going to take my pork chops, however skinny they may be, and line them in the bottom of this crock pot here. All right, so I have my pork in the bottom of my slow cooker here. Now I am going to add 1.5 cups or just 1 can of chicken broth here. Chicken broth, beef broth, vegetable broth, doesn't matter what kind. Next, we are gonna add 1 can of cream of chicken soup. And lastly, 1 packet of brown gravy mix. Doesn't have to be a certain kind, store brand works just good. Sprinkle that across there. And now we are going to get a wooden spoon or something soft and kind of stir that all up. You don't need to stir up your pork chops, so just kind of stir what's on the top there. Once you have that all mixed up, you have your pork chops down in there, we're gonna pop a lid on this and we are gonna put it on low for 6 to 7 hours, or we are going to do high 3 to 4 hours. I'm gonna do the high setting. I'm making this on my lunch hour. If I was making it before I went to work, I would do it to 6 to 7 and put it on low, but high 3 to 4 hours, and it should be all good to go. We'll check back in a couple hours after work and after Pilates. So I'll be dead tired and probably not look like this, but we still have to eat. Okay, we are post Pilates and it was a tough day. That's all I can say about it. It was a tough day. So all of our pork is done in our crock pot. It smells amazing, and we are just gonna let it sit here on warm while we make our sides. And we're having highly processed and not processed at all. We're having green beans from my mama and papa's garden, and I will show you how I make canned green beans or jarred green beans have lots and lots of flavor. And it's really simple and really easy, and we are going to take about 10 or 15 minutes and get our sides cooked, and we will have supper on the table. So for our green beans, we are gonna just need a little sauce pot like this. We're gonna take some butter and stick butter, this butter, I don't really care, okay? They are the same to me. And I'm gonna take about a tablespoon of butter. I'm gonna drop that in the bottom of the pot. And then I am gonna take some bacon crumbles. This is totally optional, but it gives it lots of flavor. And I've had these bacon crumbles for a while from Sam's, and I need to use them up. So we're gonna put these in the bottom of the pot and put it on the stove over like medium high heat, just so that we can cook that bacon down a little bit and get some of that bacon juice, and it's gonna make our green beans have lots of flavor and be more like your grandma would make them, but the quick way. The other thing I'm going to do with my green beans is I'm going to drain the majority of the juice out of here. And if you have canned green beans, just do the exact same process. All right, so once your butter has bubbled up like this and you have your bacon browned, that means it is ready. You got a little bit of bacon grease down in the pot. pour your green beans in the pot. Stir it all together and turn your heat down to medium. Once you have your green beans all mixed in, so you've got them all coated in butter and you have your bacon mixed throughout, now let's just season them. So I'm gonna use this butter herb green beans. Now, some people like them sweet, some people like them savory. You decide how you like and you put that in there. A lot of people put sugar in them. I just prefer them to be this way. If you don't have butter herb, salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, anything like that will work. But you want to get good seasoning on them because honestly, green beans are kind of bland without it. And now you're just gonna put those on the stove over medium, medium-low, just until your green beans are heated. Now it's time to make your mashed potatoes, okay? And I take the super easy, lazy way. I take 2 cups of water, which is what the package calls for, and I put this in the microwave for like 3 or 4 minutes and let the water get really hot, and then I just take the bag and dump it in there. And it's 1 pot mashed potatoes. Okay, we're all about multitasking. Green beans are still heating up on the stove. You've got your water heating up in the microwave for your mashed potatoes. Now let's make our gravy. So you are gonna start by taking your pork out of the pot. And mine cooked for a while, so it might be so tender that they kind of come apart depending on what kind of meat you had, and that's okay. As I was talking earlier, you know, somehow got the wrong kind of meat for tonight, and I said it's okay, just go with it. Well, I got to thinking of, I don't know, 2 years ago or so, my boyfriend and I hadn't been dating for very long at all, and that was one thing that I was really proud of, is I can make these good homemade meals for him. And I knew I could cook. I knew he liked my food. I mean, he ate everything God put in front of him. He would try it. Sometimes he would lie and say that he knew what it was and liked it, and then later on I figured out he had no idea, but you know, he still ate it. That's a good man. One day, I got the wrong type of bread. I was trying to make pitas or something, and I got the wrong type of bread. You couldn't make a pocket out of it, and had a complete meltdown over the wrong kind of bread. And you know what? That might have been us just dating or me wanting to be a perfectionist. But today, if I gave him the wrong kind of bread, just like I got the wrong kind of pork here, I'm not gonna worry about it. So just don't worry about it. Mine has cooked for longer than 3 to 4 hours just because it was a crazy day and I didn't get to get back to it, and that's just fine too. So I'm going to just stir up everything that we had here. Like I said, mine cooked for a while, so it got pretty thick, but we'll just go ahead and make sure we make a good little gravy out of it. If this is a consistency you like, it's not too bad. Keep it like that, but if it is not this consistency, we are going to make a cornstarch slurry. To make a cornstarch slurry, you are going to use equal parts water, equal parts cornstarch. So I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons of water and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. We're gonna take those 2 tablespoons of water, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, and mix that up to where it is all a watery consistency, and if you throw some all over your clothes, it'll be okay, it washes out. Now it's gonna look just like milk, and you are just going to pour that into the gravy and give it a good mix, and then let it set for a couple of minutes. And as it sets, it is going to thicken up, but make sure you get it stirred in there really well. All right, now it's time to plate up our supper. So you can plate this up however you want. I am going to do mashed potatoes on the bottom, and now I am going to do some of my pork. Normally it would be a big old pork chop, but you know what? I've got little pork pieces, and I'm not mad about it because they're actually pretty cute. Now my gravy that thickened up beautifully, I am going to just pour that all over the top, as much or as little as you want. And lastly, I have my green beans, which smell and look amazing. They are definitely on the savory side with that butter and those bacon pieces, and then just that savory kind of garlic, onion powder, salt, pepper mixture that I had in a seasoning. And look at that plate. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. You know, you can't make gravy the prettiest thing ever, but I think this is a pretty plate. So I have my mashed potatoes, I have my green beans with my bacon and butter, and then I have my pork pieces, you know, pork chops, pork pieces, all the same, and then I have a little gravy that I made. This is a great meal to have in your back pocket when you have those busy weeknights. I hope you try this one soon.